Okay. Franka, congratulations. I saw the film again last night. For me, so liberating because it took place 10 years after the Berlin Wall, or 11 years. And I felt
Yeah.
that the film is all about freedom. And in a way, you represent the future with Manni, and the past is in the office with your dad. So for me, was, well, I love the film. Could you talk about that parallelism, if possible?
I don't think I looked at it that way, but I support your perspective on it. I think that I was just, you know, when we shot the film, I think the Berlin Wall coming down was something like I was maybe 13 or 14 when that happened. And I hadn't even been to Berlin. So all these years later, when we shot Lola, I was living in Munich at the time. I wasn't very familiar with Berlin. I had been there already. So I was really discovering the city at the time, which still had this, for many years, even still till today, like has these aspects of, oh, that's where the wall came down, that's where the east was, and all these things. So that's something that's still very much alive. And I think that maybe because, in the bigger picture, Lola was quite immediately, especially for foreign viewers, happening after the wall came down, after 89, even though it had been, like you say, 11, 12 years. um, I think it shed a light on these political dynamics still that went on in the city, right? And so Lola maybe suddenly was the connection to that. And I support that, especially with that liberating fury that she brought to the story, or gave the story its pace with.
So, Franca, yeah, um, it's fun. When you think of Lola, do you feel nostalgia, or you feel, what do you feel? Like
That's
yesterday, I
interesting.
felt kind of nostalgia, but I was very happy to see the movie again.
I think it is partly nostalgia. It's weirdly very close to my heart still. Also just, talking with Tom about the film, like maybe because it was such an extraordinary experience for me, not only because it was happening at the beginning of my career. I think it was one of these rare, I'm gonna be a little corny and say like artistic experiences where, from the beginning on, I was so invited and integrated in this crazy energy that Tom and the project offered. It was immediately like, especially as a young artist, I felt elevated immediately. So we both tapped into this energy together, where in a strange way, we had so much artistic flow that nothing that could have been difficult, at least for me, like neither the running nor any of the other things, like nothing was a problem. It was more about like, what are we doing today? What are we going to solve today? What are we going to create today? Which is, especially now, all these years later, all these movies later, a very rare, wonderful experience to have that has shaped the person that I am today. But you don't know that when you're in it. You don't know that when you're young. You're just like, yes, this is amazing. This is invigorating. You know what I mean? So it's weirdly still very, very close to me because it's part of me.
I think Run Lola Run got 5 Oscar nominations, and it was very well received. Were you ever aware that it was going to become such an iconic film, and now 25 years later we're relaunching it and everybody wants to watch it?
I think that while we were making it, we didn't have any result in mind, maybe because we were so driven by the process, the artistic process, which I think today has sometimes been forgotten about a little bit. But, back then we were very much about that, to the point where part of you doesn't even care if anyone's going to see the film. You're so engulfed in what you're creating and the frenzy of it. I do remember that there was a screening, there was a secret screening in Munich at the film festival. So people didn't even know what they were seeing. It was an 800-seat theater. And we saw the film with that kind of audience for the first time. It was before the official release. And people went ballistic after they saw the film. And I remember very much like feeling overwhelmed with all that energy that our movie generated, not expecting it at all. And that was when we looked at each other and we were like, damn, this could be something, You know, you never know until art comes alive with the audience only. You know, we think now we have all this power and this control and all these algorithms, how to make something successful, but it's not, it's an illusion. It's not true. You can't plan it. You can just pour your heart in it and hope for the best.
I love the fact that we all know where Lola's going and why, but we never know what's going to happen to her. I think that kept us on the edge of the seat, no? Do you think? Don't you think?
I think it's also just the pure energy and wanting to, you know, like the movie doesn't really ever stop overthinking any aspects, any of the many hidden and small details that are in the film, actually, right? I think it's just a continuous movement forward. It's the opposite of the multiverse, actually, right? It's just this stringent, like, movement forward. It stops and then it starts over again. This whole game of like, what if this, what if that? And I think that's just very inviting, you know, it's not that complex. It is simple so that all the complexity that comes with it has space, right?
So Franka, for some, I was researching on the film, and some people, some critics consider the film one of the first action films in which women are portrayed differently, because she's the one running the show and she's saving Manni, the boyfriend. So she's not a sidekick, she's the leading, and she doesn't have to be a 6 feet tall. She can be an everyday woman just running for, you know, to save.
I am 6 feet tall, so
Yeah.
I'm not 5'9".
Yeah, you are.
Well, I think in '99, you know, there was a whole slew of movies that started to portray things a little bit differently. But I do think what was new was this kind of female rage that came with it. You know, when Lola points the gun at her dad, when she's screaming, she has these moments of outbursts that are full of rage. And besides the aspect that, yes, you know, she's rescuing her boyfriend, who's basically just standing around the entire film in a phone booth. And yeah, I think that was new at the time. You're not wrong about that. So yeah, that's true in a way. I mean, it happened, but it was rather new at the time. Yeah.
And directing, do you enjoy directing?
I love directing my film. If I could choose, I would do it every day for the rest of my life. But you know, it's difficult. Independent film right now, you know, we had a strike, we had all these things, like the whole landscape is tough. But I absolutely loved the experience. It was a great experience for me, and very much influenced by all the things that I learned from Tom, I think, during Run Lola Run. Like a lot of the things as to the actor-director relationship and what we were building and tapping into work-wise, the energy and that was generated and stuff was something very much that I thought about all the time when I was directing.
One question, have your daughters seen the movie?
They have, and I had to simultaneously translate because I think one could read a little bit and the other one couldn't. Like they were a little bit younger when they saw it, and they liked it. But I feel like they were like, after like the second version, they're like, "Mommy, how much longer?" I was like, "Okay."
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and good luck with all your projects. Great talking to you.
Thank you very much, and you too.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Stop recording.